Have you ever heard of Swedish funeral candy? During the 19th century in Sweden, hard sugar candies actually became a popular funeral favor. Today, I would just hand out black licorice because that shit tastes like death. This tradition apparently started in 1884 where little hard candies were passed out at a man's funeral, often decorated in black shroud with personal inscriptions written on them that became a Swedish custom. You'll see super creative designs on the candies that were often quite morbid and quite literal. You'll see skulls, crucifixes, tombstones. You have this one that has an hourglass warmed by the sun, reminds me of a super dark version of the Teletubbies with the creepy baby in the sun. The story goes, sugar at one point was a very valuable commodity which seemed to give strong symbolic meaning, and the candies were actually meant to be treasured and not eaten. I guess that would be weird to be sucking on a lollipop next to my deceased father. With the intention that they weren't supposed to be eaten, there were plenty of people that were actually trying to reduce costs by using chalk and other cheap ingredients. Although there were plenty of Augustus gloops who felt the proper way to mourn was dessert. This tradition slowly came to a halt not because of children's upset stomachs, but because sugar actually became readily available and cheap in the late 1800s, making it lose its ritual significance, and Swedish funeral confectionaries started to fade in the 1920s, 1930s, dying out completely by the 1960s. Sometimes creative expression is a good sidekick in the grieving process, so I can see how this was seen as a nuanced way and part of the mourning process. Let's bring this back at my funeral and let's call it the New Jersey funeral candy, where everyone gets to eat Charleston chews.